Welcome to Office Hours. I am Steve Drost. With me, as always, Will Kaplan. Of course, Will and I are both from the Quivr team. Now, what is Quivr? Simple. We are the CRM built by financial advisors for financial advisors, and our objective is incredibly simple. We want to help you run your business at peak efficiency. Now, each episode, we tackle a couple of cool items that came directly from our users who are trying to do just that, make their lives a little bit easier. Now, today's topic, it might seem like we're being hypocrites talking about things that make our lives easier. When Salesforce implemented a new security protocol called Passkeys, which I'll be honest, Will, on the surface, when we first heard about the Passkeys that we're going to officially, I believe it was the end of July, went live, I wasn't excited. I'm like, this isn't going to make my life easier. But I've now been using Passkeys for a couple of weeks now, and I'll be honest, my life, it is easier. So today, I think we should chat quick about what the heck a passkey is, why Salesforce did this, and then of course, because Quivr, we're built on Salesforce, we are, required to follow the security protocol, how we were impacted by that. But then also maybe a couple of tips and tricks at the end on how, like I said, this actually can do two things, be more secure and make your life easier. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's it exactly. And you won't hear me do this very often, but I'm actually really proud of Salesforce for implementing passkeys. I don't throw a lot of praise usually Salesforce's way. I mean, I do think they do a lot of things the right way. Kind of forcing people onto passkeys early, I think is phenomenal. I wish Schwab was using passkeys. I wish Altruist was using passkeys. Like every place that you can enable a passkey, you should probably go enable a passkey. It is the future of passwords. It is a much better implementation. We'll talk a little bit about kind of what the differences are here. But like, it is so much better in terms of security that if you can use one, you should. And I'm really glad that Salesforce didn't make this something that's optional. They basically said, we take security really seriously. This is the future. We're pushing everybody onto this now. And yes, we've gotten some emails about like, what the hell is this passkey thing? And similar to you, like I'm having to change things. This is making my life harder and I don't like that. But like, it really is something that you should embrace, especially as someone that is protecting client data in a place like Salesforce. And so moving over to passkeys is awesome. Give it a big hug because like it is doing really good things for you. So let's talk a little bit about, I guess, like what is a passkey?
Yeah, let's start there. Let's define it. What does the Webster's Dictionary, Will, say a passkey is?
So the concept behind a passkey is when you go log into a website, the way that we have traditionally done this, the way that the passwords originally got implemented is I would have a username and a password, and the website would store that data. And then when I entered it, it would compare it. So like when you say, my name is Will Kaplan, I want to log into my Gmail, I'm giving them my username, and then I'm giving them some secret that we agree on is the password. Like that's how I get in, right? Well, the problem with this is Gmail now knows my secret. And for a long time, we kind of, struggled with this because everybody uses the same password, or they use 1234 pass, or, like all of these horrible passwords that have allowed us to have really secure things get compromised. I mean, it doesn't take long before you find somebody that has had email compromised or their bank account compromised, or like something where, hey, my passwords are out there and I use the same one. And so, the way that we tried to band-aid this is we brought on all these password vaults, these managers. And the concept there is you use different passwords on every single website and they're all really complex, but the fundamental issue is still there, right? The website knows your password. It has to store it. It has to compare it. And so if you can get hacked on either end, right? The website can get hacked or you can get hacked. Passkeys changes this. And this is where like, everybody's like, oh, I don't want to use a passkey. Like that's such a pain. It's new. It's different, Everybody that has an iPhone or probably, probably just even a phone has been using passkeys without knowing it. If you unlock stuff with your fingerprint, if you unlock stuff with your face, those are all passkeys. And what it is it's switching the order in which this credential is shared. The website no longer has the secret. The website has a lock that you put a key into, and if it turns, in you go. But you keep the key, you keep the password on your side. It never gets stored on the server. The server just has like this algorithm that understands like, okay, in this implementation, if I get fed this thing, it equals this, let them in. But they never know your password. It always resides with you. And so like all of this stuff where like this company got hacked and this your passwords got out, go change all your passwords. Like that all goes away because none of the passwords actually live on the other side. They all reside with you. Now, where this gets complicated for a lot of our users is we don't necessarily want to implement like a facial recognition passkey or a fingerprint passkey, or I don't know where mine is. I'm looking for it right now on my desk, but like there's security keys. YubiKey is an example of them. There's a handful of makers out there that it's like a USB, and basically it stores a cryptographic hash on it. That's the secret. And when you go visit a website, you touch the security key, it transmits that data. Same handshake that happens like with normal password type stuff. But again, like the security stays with you. It's on that physical device. Well, that's kind of a pain when it comes to Salesforce, right? Because like I want to be on my phone. I want to be on my laptop. I want to be on my desktop. I want to go into work and be able to log in there. Like I need to kind of have that password everywhere. And so I think that the tip that we want to talk about a little bit is the idea that like all of the password vaults, I shouldn't say all, I will say most of the password vaults that we sort of try and help support with our users support passkeys. I'm a big fan of 1Password. That's what I personally use. 1Password supports passkey implementation. And so what I have to do is basically as I'm creating that Salesforce passkey, I just tell it, I want to store this in 1Password. I want to use 1Password to manage this passkey. And so it keeps that little cryptographic string attached to the record, the login information in 1Password. And so now when I go to log into Salesforce, I still just use 1Password the same way that I always have. Or if you use like Dashlane or Keeper or LastPass or any of these other implementations, like they work the same way. You're logging in, it's asking for the passkey, your password vault provides it, and in you go. So like OTP codes, one-time password codes kind of can go away. Like a lot of these other Band-Aids that we've been using in the past, we don't have to use anymore, right? Because now we're using this new implementation, this passkey implementation. Certainly if you want a deeper dive on passkeys and stuff, Google is your friend. There's a bunch of information out there that you can learn about kind of what passkeys are and how to use them. But the most important part of this is they are significantly more secure than what we've been using in the past. Transitioning over to them is a good idea. There are websites that show which products support passkeys. And so you can sort of like audit. I use this software. I use this software. I use this software. You can transition all of them to passkeys. We strongly encourage you to consider doing that just because it is such a better implementation of passwords. And the fact that like a tool like 1Password can still manage it. And then it's on your laptop, your phone, your desktop, your work computer, like it's everywhere. It makes it easy. Like you can still share a passkey credential through those services as well. So like, Steve and I wanted to share a password. We could still absolutely share a password, even though it's a passkey implementation. And so like it kind of checks all the boxes. It's the future of passwords. And so yeah, Salesforce is making us do a little bit of work and like change things around and adjust to something new. Nobody likes that. But this is one to pay attention to. And I think it's really great actually that they forced it, because it makes people go and adopt better passwords. And really that, like, especially for something like, Quivr, where we have so much client data in it, having better passwords is great. And so like, even if you're not forced to use a passkey to get into Salesforce, you might as well, because it's that much better. Steve, any questions or?
No, so you know more about this stuff than I do. I remember when I got the first email about this, I went to you and Ryan, right? The lead dev. I'm like, what the heck is this? Tell me what I have to do. You guys gave me an explanation comparable to that, but the summary was do it, get it in 1Password, your life will be easy. And I didn't believe you guys. And then I did it. It took 3 minutes maybe to get mine set up. And it is easier because now every time I log in, when I enter my username and my password, because you still do that, what then happens is I get redirected to a screen that instead of asking me to open up my authenticator app and then confirm I'm trying to log in, I just get a little 1Password notification that says, click here to, input your passkey. I click that button and I'm in. And what's really nice is it works on any device that I have 1Password installed. And I'm a 3-device person, more or less. I have an actual desktop that I work on when I'm at my house. And I have 1Password installed as a little browser extension in Chrome, so it works great there. I have 1Password installed on my laptop for when I'm traveling, and then I have it installed on my phone when I need access to things. So because once I set it up one time, it works everywhere. So I don't need to use that Salesforce Authenticator app. So I probably save, I don't know, the 10 seconds to swipe in the app, and then however many times I used to go to my phone to swipe, but then I would get distracted by a text or something like that. So I'm probably already ahead by hours just because I don't have to look at my phone to get into Quivr anymore. But no, if you have any questions as a Quivr user, everybody should be on it already. It happened at the end of July. But if you had any issues, or maybe you're not liking the way that you're doing it now, or you didn't know you could get it into 1Password or whichever password manager your choice is, hit up the community. We have information in there. I know we've sent emails 2 or 3 times to all of our users about it. Google is going to be your friend. I mean, how many users does Salesforce have? So every Salesforce user is being impacted right now. But we are quite confident that yes, it's a little bit of a pain, but you're going to be in a significantly better spot on the back end of this. But that's a wrap. Today was probably like the least fun topic we get to discuss. No fun financial planning or Salesforce customization. But if our data is not secure, then we're not going to be in business. I always tell myself that there's 2 ways that I can get put out of business. I either make my regulators mad or I make my clients mad. And keeping data safe is going to keep both of those parties happy. But if you are a Quivr user, remember office hours every Wednesday. This is a great thing you could have asked us about when you got that initial email. What's this passkey thing? How should we handle that? We're here to help. If you're not a Quivr user, that is okay. Remember, nobody is perfect. Everybody does make mistakes, but it's not too late. Come schedule a demo. Come hang out with me. Come hang out with Will and see what Quivr can do for you and for your firm.